Ladies and gentlemen, I manifest texts in under 24 hours very, very consistently, and I can help you do the same. Now, in this video, I'm going to be giving you two methods that I use to do this that you can just copy and paste into your own process. But if you like your process and you don't want to copy and paste this, in point 3, I'm going to be going over the deciding factors to why these methods work so you can incorporate those into what you're already doing to ensure that yours work too. So be sure to stick out to deciding factors, point number 3, so you ensure that you don't miss anything. Because any technique, any method will work, it just needs to follow the right rules, I suppose you could say, the right principles of manifestation. So diving right in, let me start with an honorable mention of something that I did. And this, funny enough, was the very, very first time I ever manifested a text in under 24 hours. And the very first time that I could actively say, yes, I did that. So a little bit of story time, and I'll keep it short and sweet. When I first got into manifestation, I was trialing it on my ex at the time, trying to get her back. No results, because I was basically affirming for 5 minutes and then crapping my pants the rest of the day when I didn't see any movement and so on. So there was no dominant state. But there was another person that I was sort of mildly interested in, and as a bit of a tester, I went to bed that night, the night that I sort of decided to try this, and I tried a Robert Zink. I think I can't remember the name of his channel now off the top of my head. It's something like Manifestation Solutions or something, Law of Attraction Solutions, something along those lines. But Robert Zink, and it was a visualization to manifest a text. And I tried this video and I saw in my imagination her picking up the phone. Bear in mind, this is the new person, not the ex. And at that time, I didn't really have any resistance or anything. I imagined her picking up her phone, writing out the text, and then I jumped to myself in the imagination, picking up my phone, seeing her Instagram handle saying person is typing, and then the text coming through. The next day, so I did that at night, falling asleep to this visualization. The next day, I was sat at my table doing a little bit of work, and I felt the pull to check my phone. Now, at that time, the sooner I got my work done, the sooner I could start working, basically. So I didn't touch my phone a lot. I basically put it to the side, smashed out my work so I could be done by 1, 2 o'clock. But I felt a pull. I just needed to check my phone for some reason. Check my phone, get a little bit distracted, go on Instagram, feel the pull again to go onto my messages. The exact thing. Person is typing. The text came in while I was staring at my phone, said exactly what it was that I wanted to hear. Just simply by visualizing that as I was falling asleep. But the reason why that worked so quickly is because of some of these deciding factors. But that was the first time I ever manifested anything that I could actively say, yes, this cannot be a coincidence. Because this person and I, we'd barely known each other. It was a friend of a friend that I just had a little bit of a fancying for. Lo and behold, result. So if I could do that as my very first manifestation, proper manifestation, you can be a beginner and make this stuff work as well. But now that the honorable mention, little story time is out of the way, point number 1, and this is set it and forget it. Now, if you've been on my channel for long enough, you'll know that I'm not against the set it and forget it method. I just think that it has to be utilized in a correct way. If you're absolutely spiraling, obsessed, desperate, I don't think the set it and forget it is going to be very useful, because chances are you're going to set it and not be able to forget it. But in an attempt not to overwork yourself, not do the right stuff. That's what I've seen quite consistently, at least. So my version of this set it and forget it is to do the best you can to forget it, but when your mind naturally brings it up, ensure that you are following a desired outcome. So let me tell you what it was that I did. And I am keeping the drawings light on this one and the whiteboard explanation light on this one, because this is more like a story time video, and I'll use this stuff to help accentuate the point. So to set it and forget it, the very first time that I managed to make a lot of success with this was actually not long after, a couple of months after the story that I just gave you, and it was a different person. And what I would do, and this worked pretty much 100% of the time, I had this person I was interested in, but she was not very forward presenting. I was always the first one to message. I was always the first one to arrange meetups. I was always the one breaking a leg to try and make the meetups happen, getting like lifts to her house, things like that, always the one making the effort. And she would kind of just be there, I suppose you could say. When we were like hanging out, it was quite nice, it seemed like she was interested, but outside of that, I was as much as I was basically not on her mind, so to speak. So I thought, you know what, I need to make a change. And this diagram is actually going to be for point two, but I don't know. I just wanted to put it there. And what I would do is I would set it. And at the time, I was playing around with the statements of I intend. I intend to get a client. I intend to receive a text. I intend to do XYZ. And I got that from, I can't remember the name of the channel now. Oh, it's going to really bug me. My brain goes blank every time I start doing these when it comes to remembering who quotes stuff in YouTube channels and stuff. Quite a popular one. Many of you will know her / them. It started off as one person, I believe, and then they've now got multiple coaches. But it was like, I intend to receive XYZ. So what I would do is I would say here, I can use this diagram to a degree. I intend for person to text me. I intend to receive a text from person at this time. And again, this was when I was fairly new to manifestation, so I was just testing things and so on. But I would say, I intend for person to text me, or I intend to receive a text from person, or I intend to be in communication. Variations of that. And then what I would do is I would get busy. I would literally set it, I intend, with like I intend. I'm having this. I intend for her to message me. Say it with some gusto, put your balls into it, put your boobs into it. You know what I mean? Like really just oomph it as though, well, why else wouldn't they, sort of thing. And then I put my phone away. I literally put it on my bed or on my desk or wherever and just left it and went off and distracted myself until I felt it necessary to check my phone. And I mean genuinely necessary, not like, oh, I wonder if someone's messaged me on Instagram. Let me go have a look. Oh, I wonder if I've got my text. Let me have a look. There would be hours where my phone would be set aside, because when you're trying to set and forget something, you realize how little you actually need your phone. It was a surprise to me back then. And I'd go off, I'd learn the keyboard a little bit. I'd go and watch Parasite with my little sister. I would go do some nunchucks training or some push-ups outside, or walk to Asda, which where I was living at the time was like an hour-long walk there and an hour back. And I would do that without my phone. So I just had my thoughts on me. I'd forget it. I'd let my phone go. I would completely put aside any need for a phone. Forgetting it. And the reason why I would do that is because when your phone is on you so much, even if not intentionally, you check the time, you notice there's no text. You check, your Facebook, you notice there's no text. You feel the need to be like, oh, I wonder if there's a text. No. I got busy. And that's what this diagram is. That's meant to be me turning away. I turned away from the desire, for want of a better term. I'd said it. I intend to get this text. And I'm like, it's coming. I don't need to check my phone. The subconscious mind will make me check the phone when the time is right. I'm chill. I'm leaving it. I would turn my back on my desire, for want of a better term. But, and this is the key thing that I think that many of you forget and many of you are worried about, in order for there to be a chaser, there must be a chased. When you're sitting there going, oh, I wonder if there's a text. I wonder if there's a text. I wonder if there's a text. What have I got to do to get a text? What have I got to do? What have I got to do? You are in chaser energy. You are running, imagine the space the other way, and therefore your desire must run away from you. Which is why manifestation, martial arts, any kind of sports, any kind of like acting or musician, anything that requires some form of flow state always tells you to calm the hell down, relax, be like water, be still, chill. Because when you chill, you are not in chaser energy, which allows your thing to come and chase you. Every single one of us, even if not necessarily with a manifestation result, every single one of us has had that moment when we've gone, you know what, screw it, I'm chill, and things work out. And then every single one of us has had those, I need to make this happen, I need to put effort in, and then things haven't worked out. Whether that's getting something right on an exam, whether that's scoring that free kick, whether that's trying to hit that note while you're singing in the car, the more you try, the more you push it away because you're chasing that result through effort and force, as opposed to expecting that result because it's who you are and being calm and relaxed, knowing that it's coming. So this is meant to signal that I'm not chasing, sending out that signal for the desire to chase me. And then when I felt necessary, usually on the basis of some pull or actually needing to, I need to call my manager to just double check something, yada, 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 while working, then I would check my phone. And 8 out of 10 times, there would have been a text by then. And on the other 2 out of 10 times, if there wasn't a text by then, I would rinse and repeat, and there would be a text at some point. One of my favorite successes from this actually was when I did this, I intend to receive a photo from person because they were texty only when I texted them. They didn't send any photos. They didn't really do anything. Like I said, they weren't seeming all that interested. My own stories that created this, and I spoke about this in the past, but I was like, I intend to receive a photo. I must have done this maybe at like 9 o'clock in the morning because I had a really busy day. So I was like, this is a great day because the photo was at like step above to me at the time. So I was like, okay, I intend to receive a photo. I've got all day to go do my work, go do this, do it. Nighttime comes around, nothing. Feeling a bit disheartened, did the process again anyway. Went to sleep at about midnight, I think, give or take, and I put my phone in a different room so I wouldn't be tempted to just check while trying to fall asleep or whatever. I wake up the next morning, photo message. The reason why, well, I say the reason why, what happened was because she's a nurse. She was sleeping all day because she had a night shift. At 3 o'clock in the morning, during her night shift, she had sent me a photo of her wearing this like clown wig that they had as like a fancy dress party or something like that at her hospital or clinic or wherever it was that she was working at. She'd sent the photo. She was sent a photo without me saying anything, and it was within that 24 hours. It blows my mind still. But what's happening is you claim it, you trust and detach in the set it and forget it method, and that leads to a result. Now, the key factor, and as hopefully you would have taken from what I just said, was when I checked and there was no results, I just rinse and repeat. And it was the same thing in my mind. Whenever the thoughts about it came to mind, I just went, I intend to receive this text, rinse and repeat. So this is the first method, the set it, forget it method. Set it when you're ready, put your phone down, put whatever it is down, go be busy, go do stuff with your life. Check when it's necessary or when you're pulled to. And when I say pulled, I mean like a genuine pull, not an anxious, like, oh, I wonder if it's gone, I'm gonna have to check. On a little like additional note to this, get busy. One thing that's really funny in like the manosphere is this idea of like, oh, if you text too soon, you know, she's going to get turned off and, you know, you're just going to look desperate and needy, yada, yada, yada. Leave it like 20 minutes before you respond between each message. I actually do hold some of that opinion in my mind. I do think that if you're too quick to respond, it does show an element of availability and maybe even potentially neediness, depending. But this idea of like sitting there, like on your sofa, just like counting the time before you can check your phone, I think is kind of loserish. Go be busy. Go and make it so that you can't check every 10 minutes because you're busy actually doing something. If you build a life that is busy and accomplishing things, you will find that you'll naturally forget when you set much easier. And this will help with everything. This helps with like any part of the manifestation process. It doesn't have to just be the set it and forget it method. If you're like a consistent robotic affirmer, if you're busy for most of the day and then affirm when you're not, you're still going to be putting yourself in that dominant state. So instead of sitting there being like, oh, I can't check my phone, but I'm going to have it next to me on the arm of the sofa and just sit there and like peer over every now and then. No, put it down, go be busy, learn a hobby, go see friends, have a cold shower, exercise, go to the gym, leave your phone at home while you're at the gym and take a notepad to write your stuff down. Go be productive. And what that does is it signals to your subconscious mind, I care so little about this text that I'm not even going to take my phone with me. But that is not being in need, and if anything, being in abundance, because you don't need it. You don't need things. Therefore, you're either in an abundance of them or they don't have a hold on you, which allows, it's that trusting and attaching, allows it to come. So that is the set it and forget it method that I did. As it says here, it already exists. Stop denying it. The reason why many of you aren't succeeding in manifesting texts is because you'll do the work and then go, well, I wonder if he's going to text me. I wonder if I'm going to receive it. When am I going to receive it? How come I haven't received it yet? How come I can get it from this person within an hour, but I can't get it from this person? And so on. You're just sitting there in a space of denying that it exists. So with this method, and I'll just simplify it in another explanation, I intend to receive X from person. I intend to receive communication from person. I intend to receive a text from person, whatever. I would advocate being a little bit more specific with what it is that you want. I intend to receive a loving text from person. Because with this, even though it did come within 24 hours, 9 out of 10 times, sometimes it was just a hi, which, isn't great. It was a success, but not great. So make sure with this, you are taking it how you want it. I intend to receive loving communication, consistent communication, whatever. Or if you're more of like the I am or whatever, I am receiving loving communication. I am receiving XYZ. You don't necessarily have to do the I intend, but this was the process that I found so much success with at the beginning. And admittedly, I don't do that one as much anymore. I actually do point two a whole lot more than I'm about to get onto. But that is the set it and forget it method. Set it, claim it, visualize it, script it, affirm it, and converse it, whatever. Then go be busy. Put your phone down, be busy, actually have shit going on so your subconscious mind can get to work in the background. Because if you're constantly trying to water a plant, you're not really giving it much chance to grow. You're just going to drown it, go and die. So set it, forget it if you want to go this method. When it comes to mind, just remind yourself, no, I intend to receive a text. Get back on with your day. I intend to receive a text. It's here. I ain't got to worry. Get back on with your day until you are pulled to check. And that leads us quite nicely on to point two, which is where necessary. Apologies if I sound a bit off. I am a little bit ill. I had a band session, and sometimes if I push myself too hard, it can make my throat a little bit sore and dry. And I find that that's just kind of like the catalyst toward me then getting actually ill. And this weekend session was not the best. There was a lot of strain, a lot of hours, a lot of So no weekend session, the Thursday session. So over the weekend, I was a little bit ill, and as you can hear, still out. But where necessary. Now, I posted a video, I think a couple of months back now, where I did this for 3 different texts in under 24 hours. So it all at the same time. So if you want to watch that, I will put it in the end card at the end so you can watch the full explanation of that. But what this where necessary is, follows a similar route to set it and forget it, but without putting your phone aside. And actually, when you check your phone, you do the work again. And it follows the same sort of process. So what I did for this one, and especially for the the 3 thingies that are going to be in the end card video, I said something like, oh, great, a message from so-and-so when I checked my phone. So if we check our phone, your subconscious mind doesn't know what is and isn't real. It only knows what you are feeding it. So if you check your phone and there's no text, if you say, oh, look, a text, your subconscious mind goes off of what you just claimed, not what actually is. So what I would do is I would check my phone. Beep, 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 beep. That's meant to be a phone. I check my phone and then I would say, oh, a text from person. I'll respond to that in a minute. Casually, as though it's true, relaxed. It's not a lie. I've received a text, even if it's not there. So that's that side. And then in the example that I give in that video, I was actually playing games with my friend. So I would get busy by going back to the game. I just literally just put my phone down and then go back to the game, play a little bit. Again, doing this whole turning away from the desire. I said that I got a text. I'm so relaxed about it. I'm not even going to respond yet because I'm busy. And I go get busy, let my subconscious mind turn. We've received a text. Okay, let me work on receiving that text. Let me work on playing that text out. And then when I check my phone again in a few moments, because loading screens and stuff on that like down the game, just check a little bit of Instagram while waiting for game to load. Oh look, I received a text. Every single time I check my phone. I think I was playing for an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. I can't remember. It's a few months back. But I checked my phone maybe every 5 minutes during that time because of the loading screens. We were playing Borderlands, so it was a lot of like, run over here, teleport, run over here, teleport, run over here, teleport, sort of thing, you know? So a lot of loading screens. And every time I checked my phone, oh look, I received a text. Oh look, an Instagram. Oh look, an email. Because it was 3 different people that I was working on at the same time. So I'd claim it. Oh look, it's here. I'd get busy, go back playing my game, enjoy myself, completely setting it aside, turning away from my desire, showing my subconscious mind, I don't fucking care. I'm not in a chaser mode. I'm claiming it's here, and I'm not bothered about it. I must be being the one to be chased by it. Lo and behold, the desire follows. And in each one of those desires, I got them, as the video will explain, so I highly suggest you go check it out. I made the claim, I trusted and detached. I was so chill that I'm not even responding yet. Hopefully you can see where I'm going with that. And I got the result every single time. And there are a multitude of different times when I do this. These are just some examples. I'll do this for Katie. Katie will be like out or something, and I'll need her to respond because I need a, I don't know, like a code for something, or just want to double check something. And I'll message, and like half an hour will go by. And I'm like, why am I sitting here waiting for the 3D to act right? Go inward. I intend to receive a message from Katie, or Katie's let me know that XYZ thing is the case, or the information, yada, yada, yada. A few minutes go by, Katie messages me. So you can do this for everything. It doesn't just have to be your person. I've helped people do this for job interview emails and things like that, because the principle is the same. These are just 2 different ways that I do it. Set it, go about my day, don't check my phone until I feel the pull to do so, or set it. I have received a text. I am in communication. I've received that email. I've received an acceptance letter, whatever it is, every time I check. Because if you're already checking, you're already going to have that little knowledge. Every time your eyes touch a screen, you're going to go, oh, shit, there's no text. Or like, even if like subtly, we all do it. I know it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So when you notice you're already checking it anyway, why not tell your mind something good? So you just go, oh, look, text. I'll message that later. I'll respond in a bit. I'm busy. I'm having fun with my friend. And what this does, it sort of takes away from this notion of, well, if you'd had to text, why didn't you respond? Well, I'm busy. I'm having a good old time with my friend. There's been times, even when Katie and I were dating, for example, where she'd be sending me like sweet nothings and saying how much she's excited to see me and stuff. I see the messages come in, jump right back into a Dragon Ball FighterZ game with my mate. We're sat on the sofa together, doing one-on-ones, running some games, practicing. I'm with my friend. It doesn't matter how much I like Katie. It doesn't matter how much I want it to work with Katie. In that moment, I'm with my friend. And Katie would literally sit there waiting hours for me to respond because I was busy with my friends and I was present with my friends. Makes me sound like a dick, but I think that very notion of being present with what you're doing is one of the reasons why manifestation works so well for so many people and not so well for the others. Because there's the people that sacrifice the desire for the present moment and then see the desire in their spare time. And that allows the flow, that allows abundance, that allows the subconscious mind to get to work at the background because you're not constantly watering it. And then there's the others who sacrifice their life for the desire, who are constantly watering it, constantly digging it up to see whether it's grown or not, and don't typically get the results. So I urge you to try one of these 2 things. Like I said, you can use it in your own way. You can simply just visualize every time you check your phone. Imagine there's that photo, there's that notification, and then go about your day. But those are the 2 methods that I mainly make use of. The second one being more the case now. Every time I open up my emails, oh, sweet, a new client. Every time I check my phone, oh, look, a new payment. Every time I go to the shop, of course I could pay for that. I've just had like 10 new clients. Every single time is necessary. And I find by doing it that way as well, just as like a little side note, by doing it that way in the moment, it makes it more natural. As I explained, and you probably picked up from my content, I don't sit there doing constant strings of affirmations. I do my morning work if I have time. I do my evening work if I don't forget. But I go through the day in natural ways, saying what I want to say, affirming it, visualizing it, whatever. check my phone, oh look, a new client. I go to the gym and I'll walk in, I'm like, today's gonna be the best gym that I've ever had. Best gym session I've ever had. I don't, outside of that, affirm, oh, I'm a big strong man, I'm a big strong man. Not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what you do. I'm just talking from how I make it natural for me. I'll walk into the gym and with confidence, like, today's gonna smash it. Today, as an example, even ill, and this is the first time I've actually gone to the gym while fasted, because usually I wait until about 1 to eat, and then at about 2, after it's settled down a bit, go to the gym. Because of some stuff that I got to do today, I need to fit the gym in early. Went to the gym today, fasted and slightly ill, walked in with the mindset of I'm going to smash it. Today was a sick gym session. So, because it's that naturalness, is in the moments. And this is what, again, I feel like I may be rambling, but I think there's a lot of gold within what I'm saying. So please take notes if anything stands out, and comment below if anything stands out. But this is what I do advocate quite a lot. And I haven't used this term in a while, but I do urge you to take it on board. There's talk in the talk and there's walk in the walk. It's well easy to affirm when you're in a good mood. It's well easy to affirm when you've just woken up and nothing's taken your mind yet. But when you check your phone and there's no text, do you crumble? When you send that risky text and you don't get a response, do you crumble? Talking the talk, doing the manifestation work when you're good is great. Please continue. But it's in those moments where you're tested, whether you're your new self or your old self, that's walking the walk. If you're affirming that you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, but the second you get left on red, you're like, well, it proves I'm not chosen. It proves that I'm not loved. It proves that I'm this, that, and the other. You're just accentuating your mind with that story. So do it where necessary. This helps make it natural. This helps you stay on top of your mental diet. This helps you get results. And if you couple that with like the 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and night, and when you've got some spare time while washing up, for example, doing some affirmations or whatever, you cannot be stopped. So please take on board this where necessary moment, because I think it makes a difference, a huge difference. And I ain't kidding. I sit down at my computer every time I open my laptop. Oh, look, another sale. Whenever I check my phone, less consistently than the laptop because I check my phone a lot, but quite frequently, oh, look, another sale. Every time I go to the gym, today is the best gym session I've ever had. Every time I go to bed, tonight's the night my daughter's sleeping through. Tiny little story. Apologies if I'm rambling, but a tiny little story. We've just transitioned over this weekend my 2.5-year-old to her own actual bed instead of like a big sized cot, one in which she can get out of. The general consensus is that she's just going to climb out and just stand at the door going, Dad, I want out. But every time I went to bed, no, she's going to sleep through the night. She's going to be an angel. Not once has she gotten out of that bed, because when it's necessary, I've been reaffirming the right story and not sitting in counteractive thoughts. Which actually leads me on to point number 3. I'm going to get a drink and I'll be back. Now, point number 3 is deciding factors. So why did these things work so fast? Because there was 3 different methods. There was visualizing as I fell asleep, and that was all I did, the honorable mention. There was the set it and forget it, affirming that I have it or that I intend to have it, and then just getting on with my life until it comes. And then there was the where necessary, which is every time my attention is pointed toward that thing, affirming that it's there. Despite them being 3 different methods, why did they work, and why did they work so fast? Well, the first factor that I want you to consider is resistance. I think I may have spelled that wrong. Resistance. There wasn't a huge amount of resistance with those people. There was more so with the set it and forget it method. I was quite interested in her, and the fact that she wasn't very reciprocating made me more interested in her. Oh, wait, when you're chasing, something has to be chased. It was working on me. I was chasing because she wasn't. But other than that, there wasn't a huge amount of resistance. Now, that isn't to say that if you have resistance, you won't be able to make use of this. You'll just have to consider an extra step, which I will obviously get onto. So the first thing, there wasn't really much resistance. Thus, there wasn't much friction against my desire. As we got here, the good old weighing scale analogy that I so love, we got the positive story and the negative story. For argument's sake, just to keep it simple, Let's say every thought that you have is an action of 1. Every positive thought adds weight to this by 1. Every negative thought adds weight to this by 1. Dominant state is, of course, the dominancy of one story comparative to the other. In an ideal world, you want this to be plus 100 and this to be plus 0 in a perfect world. We're human. You're never going to be perfect. Please don't beat yourself up trying to reach those numbers. Even me now, I have never had a day where I'm 100% in anything. Okay? Just chill. Don't worry about it. But ideally, we want it to be as good as we can, you know? So every good thought is a net 1. Every bad thought is a net 1 to their respective fields. If you've had 2 good thoughts, you've gone plus 2, but then 3 bad thoughts, you've gone plus 3. That then leads it at this being plus 1 and this being plus 0 because of the cancelling out, so to speak. As referenced, not exactly in number form, but in Joseph Murphy's book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, he talks about just counter the thought, basically. I think it's Joseph Murphy. Apologies if I got that wrong. But this is what we're working with here. As simple as I can possibly make it, you've got a positive side and a negative side. Every thought is adding 1 to their respective field, and that balancing scale is going to tip depending. When there's less resistance, you just simply have less negative thoughts going on. Resistance is basically you noticing a thought of you not having what you want, or why you couldn't have what you want, or something that they said that says that you can't have what you want. And it's basically your ego giving you a swift uppercut saying, get over yourself, it's never going to happen, in simple terms, which is just plus 1, plus 1, plus 1 to the negative. If there's less resistance, you simply just have less negative going on, which then allows you to then just build on the positive with each set it and forget it, with each where necessary. So, if you have less resistance, you will get results easier. This is why so many of us will say things like, how come it worked on that person that I don't care about, that I met at a club, that I just thought about twice, but my specific person where I'm dedicating hours of affirming toward, why is it not working for that person, but it did for that person? Resistance. Just simply by not giving a crap about the initial person, you don't have naturally countering thoughts, thus making it very easy to feed a story to your subconscious mind. Because dominancy is not quantity. Dominancy is percentage of one comparative to the other. Having one good thought and no bad thoughts is dominant, believe it or not. And that's why when you think of a song, you hear it. When you think of a friend, they call, and things like that, despite it being a simple thought or a handful of thoughts. Because dominancy isn't chasing a number. Dominancy is chasing the quality of the good story comparative to the quality of the bad story. Or I suppose quantity of the good story comparative to the bad story. But it's not based on trying to reach a number. It's based on trying to outwork the other one. In this case, the positive outwork negative. So if you've got resistance, you will naturally have more negative thoughts going on, which is why it feels like it's not working. How do we get rid of resistance or make it a bit easier? Well, there's being busy. If you're distracted, if you're busy, if you've done your 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and then make yourself so busy that you don't think of your desired outcome, let's just say 5 to 10 minutes is 10 thoughts just for simplicity purposes. And then you become so busy that you don't get the chance to think about it. And if you do, it's only for a moment or 2. So that's 3. That's still 7 towards the positive, which is why I always advocate to live your best life, because it makes it easier for you to have less resistance and to let the subconscious mind get to work in the background. So the first way to reduce resistance is to be busy. The second way is to be hyped. I can think of a word that I wanted. Self-hyped. If you view yourself as the best thing since sliced bread, the natural thoughts of, well, he won't want to come back to me, she's never going to give me a chance, and so on, just simply don't come up as much. And if they do, you don't care because it's their loss. And this is speaking from experience. When I first got with Katie, I was the most insecure little butthole that you've ever met. Anytime she picked up her phone, I was shaking in my little booties, thinking that was it. It was the next guy coming to take my space. Now, with all of the work that I've had going on, she could go away for a week without texting me, and I would assume she wouldn't do anything. But if she did, I'd be like, cool, you're lost, I'm out. I'm so self-hyped, so self-valuing that the idea of it happening doesn't really come to mind, because why would she cheat on me? I look at me, I'm the best thing since sliced bread. And if it happens, I'm chill because I'm the best thing since sliced bread. This is her loss. Because of those two factors, I now don't feel those resistant feelings towards the idea of her going away for a week, for example, because it just doesn't cross my mind. It's not on my radar. It's not what I should be dealing with because of the value that I hold within myself. So if you can make yourself busy, you'll naturally just have less time to think negative, which means the time that you sit down to think positive is going to be more effective. And if you can be self-affirming, if you can be your own hype person and see yourself as the best thing since sliced bread, see yourself as the best thing since circular wheels, you're not going to sit there thinking, oh, it's not going to work. I doubt it's going to work. Oh, they don't want me. Because you're going to be like, of course they want me. Look at me. I'm the shit. And if they don't want you, it's their loss. And trust me, having a it's their loss opinion is much better for your manifestation due to this element of not chasing than panicking that they don't want you. So that's how we can get rid of resistance, and that's a key factor. The less resistant you are, the sooner your manifestation can come, because once the subconscious mind is impressed, it gets to work bringing it through the path of least resistance. In layman's terms, the mode by which is the fastest. So if we focus more on the impression than the actualization, we can impress sooner, which naturally makes the actualization sooner. So if we can reduce resistance by getting busy, and if we can reduce resistance by hyping ourselves up like nobody's business, we are naturally going to have less negative thoughts, which means the time, whether it's setting it and forgetting it, a visualization as you're going to sleep, or doing it where necessary, is simply just going to skyrocket that positive, or I suppose in this case, drop that positive because of the weight element, making it so the positive is the dominant story. So resistance, taking away resistance by being busy and by being self-affirming, is ideal to make these results come faster. The second element, and it kind of comes down here, and they all kind of go hand in hand, we've got that trust and detach. So this means when you are not doing the work and when you are busy, having the faith and trust that it can happen, having the faith and trust that it's there. You're going to check your phone, a text is there. Because by doing that, it's going to keep watering your plant in the right kind of way. You know, every plant needs water, every plant needs sunlight, every plant needs nourishment. But there's a big difference between drying it out in the sun, drowning it, or digging it up to have a look, and popping it in the sun just to get a little bit of sunlight, popping some water in just to feed it, and letting the soil, letting it grow in its own accord. What we're trying to do here is do the work, set it and forget it, or do it where necessary to claim it. And then the trusting and detaching and doing it when your desire comes to mind to keep yourself topped up, for want of a better term, is just refilling the water. It's just ensuring that it's got the right sunlight and it's in the right place in the house to get that sunlight and so on. And that's when the result comes. So whether you're doing inner conversations, whether you're doing visualization, whether you're doing the water in the cup method, which you guys know that I think is ridiculous, but still does work. If you can make sure that you are doing it more consistently than you are thinking negatively, you will succeed. Doing it when it comes to mind is how you add points to the positive. Being busy so that it can't come to mind is how you take away points from the negative. I'm dedicating this time to manifest. Now that I'm done, I'm living my life. The statement that I made for this is be sure to live in the moment, but when you're not, be sure to live in the end. Because this makes the most of today, but ensures that tomorrow brings you what you want it to be. If you sacrifice today to manifest, you will find yourself having to do a whole lot more work. You can still manifest, but you'll find yourself having to do a whole lot more work because you are simply just giving your mind more time to dwell on it. And if you don't have that self-hype, and if you've got a bit of an overactive ego slash, dysregulated nervous system, you're going to have a bit of trouble. So take that into consideration when it comes to this process. There was something else that I was going to say then, and it's kind of slipped my mind. So give me a second while I think about it. I can't remember what it was I was going to say, and it's going to really bug me. But This is how I manifest text in under 24 hours. And yes, with these methods, 95% have come within 24 hours. And then the other 5% have come shortly after, with the ones that I did this properly, where I really did take into consideration that weigh and scale and get it right. Yes, I have failed, quote unquote, to manifest text before. I'm not sitting here on some monk level saying I have never failed to manifest anything ever. I have screwed up probably more times than you have. But I've also succeeded an exceptional amount of times in an exceptional amount of areas because of these things. So please put this stuff into practice and really commit to it, really commit to these principles. No matter what method that you are making use of, claim. So do your method. I recommend 5 to 10 minutes in the morning and night just to start the day right and end the day right. And then get busy and slash or work on yourself. And just to clarify, getting busy doesn't mean that you have to sit there and engage your brain non-stop with learning or like exhausting yourself. Get busy could literally just be hang out with friends, hobbies, cold showers, because then you're focusing more on not freezing to death. Meditation, so then you're like keeping an eye on what your mind's going. Anything that just engages the mind. I remember the thing that I forgot, because these help nullify MN, default mode network. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. The way that it does this is it processes info. Often, this info is bad info because it wants to try to learn from it to avoid it. Often, the things that cause you mental, spiritual, physical, emotional harm. And this is often, if you're feeling quite hurt that you were ignored, if you feel like you're being rejected and so on, that's all of those stories. By being bored and having nothing to do, you actually engage a survival mechanism where your mind sits there and dwells on the shit that you don't want it to dwell on. Because it's doing it to try and process it, reprocess it, so it can avoid it going forward. But the very act of constantly thinking about it keeps you stuck in that loop of thinking about it, thus creating it. So by not being busy, by not engaging the mind, you allow it to enter default mode network, which is what this is. I can't remember if I said what it was. I like these pens, but they're a little bit weird to write with. Default mode network, you actually allow it to enter that state of mind where it is quite literally going to be sitting there going, well, remember how he said this, remember how you felt when she did that, making you dwell on the bad info, which harms you internally, which has you focusing on it, and it's stuck in the cycle. So I'm not telling you to do these things so you can forget about your desire. I'm telling you to do these things so you can get the bloody desire. Because if you sit there bored doing absolutely bugger all, your default mode network is going to kick in and you're just going to end up being a victim to your own brain. So keep yourself regulated, keep yourself busy, keep yourself hyping yourself up and working on those areas of yourself, and you'll have a much easier time impressing the subconscious mind because you'll have less resistance, thus less negative thoughts, and an easier time believing that you can have what you want. If you see yourself as the best thing since sliced bread, and I see myself as the worst thing since unsliced bread, the chances of you sitting there saying she's going to want me and actually being able to invest in that time in that state is going to be much greater than me. Because if you see yourself as the best, it's going to be easy for you to assume that she wants the best. If I see myself as the worst, it's going to be harder for me to assume that she's going to want the worst. So by building yourself up, you actually make it easier to manifest. The less negative you have going on, the less positive you need to have going on for the impression to happen. Once impression is made, the path of least resistance is taken by the subconscious mind, getting you your desire. No matter what method you take, if you can consider those deciding factors, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, whatever the term is, you can succeed. Thank you very much for being here with me. I really hope you have enjoyed. The inspiration for this video is the fact that it's my highest viewed short, and I don't think I've made a long form video on it besides in the membership. If you've enjoyed this video, like it, comment on it, hype it. The new YouTube feature, I don't even know what it does, but do that, please. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and be sure to click that bell icon. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, I do have options available: emails, video calls, and phone calls to fit your needs. You can skip the guesswork of YouTube. You can skip the generalized content that tries to fit everyone's needs and actually sit down with me and we can go through your needs. Drop the pen. If you're not really looking for one-on-one, but you want some additional help, I do have the Academy available, which is on a monthly subscription now, as well as lifetime, and you can cancel it at any point if you join the monthly. On there, you can get all my courses, all my products, over 100 exclusive videos that are separate from the course videos, and a shit ton more. You owe it to yourself to at least have a look, and the people that are in there absolutely love it. It says it's the best decision they've made. I am sure it can be the same for you. But thank you for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.